So now let's talk business. What are the mistakes I made at the first time mom that I really don't want you to make? I'll be sharing all these things in this video. Hello guys, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Mona. I'm a first time mom to my baby boy Star. He's currently 10 months old. On this channel I discuss about my lifestyle, I discuss about motherhood and everything in between. Now, if you've not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Please click the subscribe button. Please subscribe to my channel and I would really appreciate you being part of my community. Now, motherhood comes with a lot. Like, you have to learn on the job. Nobody told me this part, that you have to learn on the job. It's not about how many research you make. It's not about how many children you believe you have around you, or if you have younger ones, or if you have once taken care of a child that isn't directly yours. I feel it's still different. Like, I learned some certain things the hard way. These things are things I've learned along the way, and I don't want you to make that same mistake. If you've made any of these mistakes I've made, let me know down in the comment section. I'm not judging you. I'm using the term mistake because I choose to. It might not be a mistake to you. It might just be a lesson. It might even be a blessing to some persons. But for me, I would regard it in this particular video, I'm regarding it as mistakes. Things I should have avoided, but I couldn't avoid it for certain reasons. The first mistake I made was I was too hard on myself. My journey through breastfeeding, which I'll make a separate video for, was hard. Like, on several occasions, I found myself crying because I felt like I failed. You know, that area of breastfeeding my child, I wasn't producing enough milk, and I was just one of those mothers or pregnant women. If you're watching me and you're pregnant, I was one of you. I was saying, I want to do exclusive for 6 months. I want to, I want my baby to have all the nutrients he needs. I want this, I want that. I wanted so many things. I had so many expectations. If you're watching this and you're pregnant, I'm not saying it's a bad thing to have so many expectations. I'm saying be open to changes, be open to situations that you can't control. So you prepare yourself for things that you can't control, so that you don't get disappointed or depressed when you can't achieve them. Because that was my situation. I wasn't producing enough milk, and I was so hard on myself. I would take it out on myself because I wasn't able to control the amount of information I soaked in. Like, everybody had an opinion. This person was saying this, that person was saying this. Everybody was just coming in with their own opinion, like, oh, do this, eat this, drink this, it's your fault, you're not resting enough, you're not doing just so many things. And all those things affected me, and that was majorly why I almost got depressed, at the early stage of postpartum. So be open to changes. It's okay to breastfeed your baby as well as give them formula. You're not a bad mom if you can't exclusively breastfeed your baby, regardless of what the society tells you. If you're one of those moms that can't breastfeed your baby at all, or you have to combine breastfeeding with formula, then I'm sure you can relate to the pressure I'm talking about. And if you can't relate, you're lucky. But if you can relate, then don't be hard on yourself. I was too hard on myself, and I almost got depressed. It's shocking that now I produce more breast milk compared to when I gave birth. And if you want to know what I did differently, let me know that in the comment section. I'll make a full video for that. Number 2 is cravings. Now, if you're watching this, you're pregnant, I'm not judging you. It's okay to crave for things. It's very okay to crave for things. Now, when I said I fell for the cravings, I meant like after I gave birth. Because when I was pregnant, trust me, taking Coke, I was taking anything I wanted to take. Because I cannot come and keep myself. I was growing a baby, bro. Like, give me a break. I took everything I wanted to take, and I am still happy about it because I allowed myself enjoy pregnancy. I allowed myself enjoy pregnancy, and I don't feel bad about it. I don't regret it. I don't feel bad about it. But the craving I'm talking about now is after pregnancy, when there was so much things going on in my life and everything. I indulged on some things I could have avoided. I was consuming so much sugar, consuming so much carbohydrate. I'm not saying carbohydrate is bad. A good amount of carbohydrate is okay. A good amount of sugar is okay. I lost that part of trying to curtail what I ate or what I was eating. I lost that, and that was one mistake I made. or another mistake I made. So you can try avoid what you indulge in after pregnancy. It's okay for you to do that during pregnancy, but after pregnancy, I'm not saying do not crave. Do crave for things, but let it be control to it, right? If you cannot control it, my sister, eat away. But if you can control it, do control it. On the long run, you would be grateful you did. That will help you build a lifestyle of being careful about what you eat. But I didn't do that, and I regard that as a mistake. Next thing I'll be talking about that I did wrong is baby blues. And I'm looking at you right now. If you're a mom already, if you're already a mom, a new mom, a first time mom, and you're having or experiencing baby blues, depressive emotions that comes, it happens to most mothers after giving birth. They struggle with baby blues, and the next thing, if it's not treated properly, or if it's not addressed, it's, would involve into a full-blown depression. And the mistake I made was I didn't acknowledge I was struggling or I had baby blues. I did not acknowledge it. I was like, I knew I was going through these things. I had prepared myself. Like, I don't feel there's anybody on earth that prepared for pregnancy as much as I did. I was prepared for it and prepared for postpartum, but you're never ready. Like, there's no amount of readiness that prepares you for this phase. I wasn't happy. I wasn't present. I wasn't presently there. Like, my reality was not hitting. Like, it wasn't setting in, because I was just in this state of surviving, right? So I wished I had spoken about it to someone, or talked to my friend about it, or spoke to my partner about it, but I didn't. And that involved into, a deeper depressive stage. So what I'll say is, you're a new mom and you find yourself always feeling sad or down or unhappy or detached, please talk to someone about it. Talk to someone about it. You might feel, well, just make sure whoever you're talking to understands you and has been through that process, or have your interest or your best interest at heart. Talk to anyone who would actually listen to you and find a solution to these things on time. Tackle it on time, rather than allowing it to grow into something else, which is a full-blown depression. So please, that's one mistake I made. I did not acknowledge that I was struggling. I did not acknowledge that I was experiencing baby blues. So don't do what I did. Talk to someone about it. If you're watching this, or if you're pregnant watching this, when you get to that phase, check yourself. If you're feeling any way negative, either towards your baby or towards yourself, or your mood entirely is bad, please talk to someone about it and get help. You don't even have to see a therapist or a psychologist or whatever. Just talk to someone about it. Talking to someone about it can do a lot. It will help you even put things into perspective. It will help you see what you're not saying. It will help you visualize things, and that alone can even be a solution to your problem. The next thing I wish I did and I didn't do, or mistakes I made, is I wasn't prepared for the aftermath. Like, you're anyone watching this, you're already stopped, so you can only relate to what I'm saying. But if you're pregnant watching this, so if you haven't made plan B, plan C, I know you probably have plan A, make plan B, make plan C, make plans for B and C, because anything can happen and you might be stuck like I was. Just have someone you can always call to help. Be sure that this person knows that you're trusting them to take care of you. Also, deciding to do it alone, count on you. Most people have a very caring and hands-on partner. Have a conversation with them about how you want the aftermath of pregnancy to be like, or just have a support system for that stage, because you will need one. I'm telling you this from experience. You will need one. If you're already a mom who understands the science to these things, like if you're not a first time mom, if you have other kids who you've raised by yourself and you didn't have extra hands, then you did a good job. You're doing a good job. But if you're a first time mom and you have an idea or experience with babies, and you have no, like, you feel you handle it by yourself, you would, but be sure to have a conversation with your partner on either you're teaching them how to do certain things now to prepare for that moment, or you are just, you know, having conversations about the next phase, what the next phase would be for you guys. Generally, I would say know who your support system are, talk to them beforehand so you don't get disappointed, because I did get disappointed, and if that's another story time that I would drop on this channel, but for now let's just stick to the point. Now the next mistake I made, I won't call this a mistake because I feel most mom out there still do it, but co-sleeping. The reason why I decided to co-sleep was it wasn't my decision. I did not make that decision. I actually got, my baby has a bassinet, it has a crib, it has lots of options. While I was pregnant, I never planned to go sleep with my baby. My expectation was I would sleep with my partner on my bed. That was my plan. You know when they say you make plan, God smiles? Yeah, that's more like the situation. So when I gave birth to my baby, he was, for the first 3 months of his life, he was a day sleeper, which means he sleeps during the day and he's always awake at night. And if you're a mom out there and you have had an experience with this, I don't know how you survive, but you can understand why I said I struggled with depression, or I struggled with stress, or I was overwhelmed. You can understand, because I didn't have help. I didn't have, aside my partner, I didn't have, for the first 3 months of my postpartum, I didn't have a very good hand on help. My husband had to rest because he was working all day, or he would work all day and he has to rest. So I was majorly doing, like, throughout the day I couldn't sleep, and then at night I still can't sleep. I was operating on this zombie mood, like I wasn't sleeping enough, I wasn't getting enough rest, I was eating unhealthy. There was just so much happening. So to avoid all this thing from happening to you, please, you know, I feel like if you get help on time, then you can avoid co-sleeping. Because now the sweet thing then was, it was easier for me to just fall back on co-sleeping, because at that late night when I needed to rest, I would just, when my baby wakes up for his night's playtime, I would put him on my arm and sleep with him on the bed. So I'm sleeping, he's awake, and over time he'll sleep, right? That was my saving grace. So now you see why I said at the beginning that this might be a mistake to me, but to someone else it's their saving grace. Now this sleeping was my saving grace at that moment. I can't imagine what my life would have been like if I didn't sleep for 3 months. I was operating as a zombie because I wasn't sleeping enough. And until that moment, I just decided that, you know what, I have a scar that is healing. I have no help. You know, my husband needs to rest. So I had to just decide that, bro, we're co-sleeping. And honestly, from the beginning, Star never liked his cot. He never liked sleeping on his crib. So it was just like, okay, fine, let's just strike a balance. I'll give you what you want. Give me what I want. And we sorted each other, you know, problem out. And, you know, that helped me. That was my saving grace. Now, looking back, I'll call it a mistake. Maybe I should have pushed more on putting him to bed, or always like, but I couldn't have. Let's be realistic. I couldn't have. So maybe now, I'm just saying this now to you. If you can avoid it, avoid it. If you can't, my sister, go sleep. It's not that bad. Just make sure the environment is very cleared. They won't be, make sure there's no loose fabric or bed sheet or pillow close to that area. And if you have all this on check, and make sure that your boobs is not fully out of your bra when you breastfeed. You can just slightly bring it out, just so that it doesn't come out too much and they suffocate while sucking. So please do all this, and co-sleeping is sweet. The only problem now is, now I have to wean him off that, like separate him from, you know, my bed, and I'll wait till 1 year because all my plans to do it has failed. So after 1 year, we'll have a separate bed and case closed. So another mistake I feel I made was screen time. So for me personally, when my son was around 3 to 4 months or 5, he was extremely clingy, and I wasn't having it. It wasn't the nicest situation for me, because I would want to use the restroom, or I want to pee, or poop or whatever. I couldn't, because once I leave the room he's crying, and the only thing I had to initiate at that moment was lullaby. So it started with the white noise. We would sleep with white noise, nap with white noise, and you know, that grew into lullaby. Normally play lullaby when he's probably resting, or please up time. We involved into rhymes and, you know, Coco Melon and Co. And now my nigger, my baby, is obsessed with these things, and it's not a mistake. If it's a mistake to you, fine. I know more. So I transited from white noise to lullaby to rhymes, and now, you know, it is what it is. My baby is obsessed with these things, and what I did now is I just would reduce his screen time. So when he goes, my baby's in the daycare. If I haven't seen the video where I talked about daycares in Nigeria and how I figured out they want to put my baby in, I'll leave a link down in the description box. Watch that video. I was talking about knowing how much screen time your baby is exposed to while they're in daycares, and knowing how to now, you know, fine-tune it and know how much screen time you expose to them while in the house. So I was able to, and now I have a balance to how many hours you've spent watching or having screen times at home, because I know he's exposed to that already in school. So I limit the time he does that or watch, you know, whatever in the house. So that has worked well for me. That sometimes we go the whole day. For weekends we go the whole day without him being, you know, exposed to screen time, and I would rather just, you know, play with him or have other activities, you know, have him indulge himself in other activities rather than, you know, watching rhymes and stuff. And that's something you can do if you're in my situation. You can do that, reduce the amount of screen time instead of cutting it off entirely, or just cut it off entirely. If you feel like your baby don't like it and it doesn't excite him, cut it off. But if he does excite him, then you can limit the time he's exposed to it. I'll talk about listening to yourself. One mistake I did make is I didn't listen to myself often. I didn't listen to my instincts. If you're a mom out there, listen to your instincts. You're always right. Mom instinct is a thing. Listen to your instincts, because you're almost always right. So one last thing I'll talk about is, guys, slow down. As a new mom, slow down. Do not rush it. Grow too fast. Why are you worried about trying to breastfeed well? Why you're trying to worry about if they are eating well, if they are getting the right weight, if they are all these things. Before you know they are 10 months old, and you're like, so as much as you can, I advise you to spend time with your baby and take pictures, make videos, celebrate milestones, record these things for future reference. And if you're recording, try to avoid using filters, because 10 years down the line, or 20 years or 50 years down the line, you want your baby to look back at these things and know how exactly they look like. You get? That's one thing I also learned the hard way, which is taking pictures without filters for my baby, right? Because it just happens that if you think about it, few years from now, like not few years, 20-30 years from now, when they want to actually see what they look like as their younger selves, they can't really see this thing, because this age, filters is the new trend, and most mothers forget that it might be off trend in the next few years, or it might be more intensified. Nobody knows. But you want these children to go back and look at things that, you know, look back at videos and pictures of them, and not, you know, projected or assumed or, you know, make-believe picture of themselves. So that's one additional tips that I feel nobody will tell you. Take pictures of your children without filters for their sake, so that when you come back to it and you know exactly how they look like. Have you learned anything? Have I made sense to you today? If I have, please subscribe. Subscribe to my channel, because I don't know what you're waiting for. It takes you nothing to just click the subscribe button. Please subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much. Never just put a like. Thank you so much for subscribing if you have subscribed. If you're not following me on Instagram, please try and follow me on Instagram. See you guys in my next video. Bye.